Let's talk Rocking K. My name is Mason. I'm a real estate agent here in Southern Arizona. I serve the greater Tucson, Vail, Pima County area. This one was a fun one. I want to share with you that I'm looking at these neighborhoods, whether it's Rocking K or any other neighborhood that you see on this channel, from the lens of a father. I'm in my late 30s with 3 kids. I have kids in middle school and elementary school and a beautiful wife. And we love our neighborhood. If I'm being honest, I'm kicking myself just a little bit because of the amenities and what the community is like at Rocking K. Unfortunately or fortunately, we are where we are now, which is in Vail, just right around the corner, right down the road from Rocking K. But every time I go there, and we've taken our kids there, sure, it's supposed to be community members only, but the parks are fun. You know, we don't cross any lines or destroy anything there, but it is nice to venture out of our neighborhood and go enjoy Rocking K. With that being said, there is a lot to go over here. So number one, it is big and there are a lot of homes and naturally there's a lot of people there. We can't ignore that. I'm not here to complain about these neighborhoods. I'm also not here to show you every single home and go over the homes. I want to show you what it's like to live here. What does life look like? What is a realistic view of what these communities look like? I'm fortunate that I work with a lot of out-of-state clients and it's hard to understand outside of the big home shopping websites. Okay, what the houses look great, but what does life look like there? What are the amenities outside of the nice curated HOA websites or the builder made websites? You know, what's the realistic boots on ground feel and amenities for Rocking K? Now, I will say before I get into it, if there's any other communities, any other parts of town that you are curious about that you're considering moving to, I love going out here and documenting them. It also gives me a much deeper, more intimate look at them. But if you have any requests, feel free to comment, shoot me a message, give me a call. I'm happy to go do this exact same research and documentation for any other neighborhood that you might be considering here in Tucson. Now, with that being said, Rocking K has 7 builders: Lennar, Meritage, DR Horton, KB Homes, Pulte, Del Webb, and Richmond American. Now, of those builders, Del Webb is for the 55 plus community, as you'll see here. And the only thing I want to touch on, because again, I'm pointing out what the cool features are, there's some sections of homes, and this is important because of where we live and the activities that are involved. There's one section of homes, and I'm pretty sure there's 2 builders that did this. I might be wrong. Number one, I know Lennar, and I believe Richmond might have added this feature, but it's an RV garage. I say that because I don't want you to miss that. I know there's a lot of families with toys and boats and dirt bikes and all the desert toys that we love and enjoy, but that is a feature that is not too common in homes. I can only name in Southeast Tucson, in Vail proper, one other small community that offers RV garages. So if you have toys, or maybe you're like us and use your garage as a gym or kind of like a kid's second playroom, for us, again, another reason why I'm kicking myself is because I would have loved to have the RV garage. Not that we want to park our cars in there, but because it's a giant playroom and we are very active. We love being outside. Our garage doors open most of the time because we're always in and out. That's just a feature I wanted to personally highlight. But again, this is about the neighborhood, not the homes. So let's get into it. Rocking K sits on about 5,000 total acres. And once it's all said and done, there are going to be about 4,000 homes. One thing you'll notice from the videos, hopefully you can tell, is that there are still big chunks of this community that are undeveloped or haven't been built yet. You can clearly see the outlines, you can see the footprints where these homes are gonna eventually be built. If I were to guess, based off what I can see, I'd say maybe just over half of this community has been built, maybe even closer to 2/3. But when you're there, it is so well developed now, and today is March 20th, Friday, happy Friday. Right now, when you drive through there, it does not feel like a construction zone. I know a while ago you drive through there and it was a new build, new construction zone, lots of dirt, lots of nails on the ground, lots of dumpsters, lots of framed homes. But now it feels like a proper neighborhood. I don't know if this was by design, but all the construction is now happening on the outsides. All the building of homes rather is happening on the outside of this community. So the core of Rocking K, we'll call it inside the loop, has been fully developed and it is ready to go with amenities and houses galore. Now, I will tell you the lens that I'm looking at it from is from my point of view. So there's going to be a little bit of bias here. As a young family, I would love to have moved there for a few reasons. Number one, just the community. There's a lot of kids. I've driven there day, night, afternoon, weekend, weekday, and at any given time, you're going to see a ton of families, old, young, even the 55 plus community, taking advantage of the endless amount of sidewalks, the hiking trails, the walking trails, the splash pad, the parks, the hills, the grass, the community tent, the sports facilities here. As a young family who is always outside, because 2/3 of the year we can be outside, it's amazing to have all of those features right outside your front door. And if you're looking for community, if you don't mind the congestion of being amongst all the neighbors and all the hustle and bustle in that community, then Rocking K is going to be exactly what you're looking for. Now, one of the things I want to point out and just shed some light on is that you'll often hear Rocking K referred to as living in Vail. The truth is Rocking K and that part of town is technically Tucson. Now, the border for Vail, which the zip code is 85641, is right on the border. But the reason why a lot of people consider that and other areas around there Vail is because it falls in the Vail footprint. And it's other than Rita Ranch, which is just west of Rocking K, it's generally just considered Vail. So you might hear me interchange between Tucson and Vail, but ultimately we're all community here. No one fights over, where the borders are. But just want to point out, technically Rocking K is Tucson. With that out of the way, you can't mention Vail without mentioning the Vail schools. And it's amazing. I'm so happy they did this. They just finished a K-8 school called Sahuarita School. Now, as you'll see here, it is beautiful. Having kids in elementary school and middle school, there's a lot of things that are important. And what I thought was very cool was how they designed the ingress and egress features. So the pickup and drop off line, the roads that are going through there. I know at my kids' schools, they're one of the oldest. I know Old Vail is the oldest school here in Vail. When I pick up and drop off, it's a nightmare. I'll just leave it at that. And if you have school-age kids, you know that it can be either a blessing or a curse based off how big or how well your school was designed. But either way, it was very nice, very cool to see that they took all that into consideration when planning this school. Everything from the fields to the school to the safety to the design, super modern, looks great. I am very jealous of this one piece. Many years ago, when it was just my little one and we were stationed in California, we had the ability to ride our bikes or walk to his school for drop off. We'd lock up his bike or his scooter and then I'd come home and then I'd do the same thing picking him up. What Rocking K offers is the ability for everyone there, whether you're K-8, to walk out your front door, ride your bike on the endless sidewalks, I'll say it again, to the school. It's super convenient, very nice that you have that school in the heart of the community. It's not on the outskirts. You don't have to cross any major streets. This school is in the heart. So if you are a fan of walking in the morning or you want a quick drop off, you don't feel like commuting 30 minutes to a school. Now, of course, you have other options around the area, but the Sahuarita K-8 school is wonderful. It looks very well done. And it's very nice to see that they finished it and it is in full service as of today. Now, just beyond that school, you'll obviously see a lot of undeveloped homes and they're still pushing out and building. But one of the things you also notice is that the roads, there's a lot of roads that are capped at a dead end right now. And of course, they're still developing. And as the months go on, they open up the roads and eventually all roads will connect. All the loops and everything will be able to bring you in from one end and out the other. The other improvement that's been made is the infrastructure, specifically the roads. Now, when Rocking K was first being developed, that area at all the intersections might have had a stop sign and some didn't even have a stop sign. But with the influx of people and cars and the demand, there are now traffic control devices, whether it be more stop signs and, the big ones are going to be the stop lights. So one of the big complaints, and this isn't specific to Rocking K, you can apply this to all of Vail and probably even Southeast Tucson, are the roads, or the traffic, or the congestion. Now, me personally, I come from a big city. I'm from the Los Angeles area. My wife's from another big city in Texas. This is not traffic. What people complain about here is a little bit of morning or evening congestion. This is not traffic. Now, do the roads get backed up a little bit? Sure, but I will tell you, and again, I'm giving you my point of view, the traffic is nowhere near worth complaining about. Safety might be a concern, but commute times and anything else you need to get to, you don't have to factor in, okay, how bad or how heavy is traffic? Just like any other part of town, during the morning, during the evening, whether you're going to work or coming back, of course, there's going to be a little bit of congestion. But I promise you, whether you're a local resident, a city member, or a county member, it is on everyone's radar for how we can improve, or how the Southeast can improve their infrastructure. One of the coolest pieces of Rock and Key are simply the amenities. And as you can see here, there is a lot. There's a lot of green here to take advantage of, whether you need a soccer field, a field for football, baseball, whatever. The kids can have at it. You also have the splash pad. You have the sports facilities. In the Del Webb community, you have your community pool. On the other end of the community, closer to the east, you have the clubhouse, you have the pool, you have the lap pools there. If you are active, if you are a young family, if you enjoy walking trails, if you enjoy sidewalks, Rock and Key might only compare to one or two other communities in Tucson and really the county, Pima County. I can only think of one, maybe, actually I can think of two full service communities, master plan housing communities with the amenities that Rock and Key has that are similar. And that is, one is just down the road off Houghton, Saguaro Trails. It's a Mattamy development. And another one is in Marana. And again, I say this specific to someone who is going to have young kids, who someone is going to need or take advantage of the splash pads, the playgrounds. So if that's not your cup of tea, trust me, there's plenty of other communities. But if you're looking for activities in your neighborhood, I promise you in Southeast Tucson, even way down in Corona de Tucson, you are not going to find a comparable. As much as we love our home here, gosh, I'm a bit jealous, admittedly, that they have all of that in their backyard, in their community. Last but not least is the shopping, and what does day-to-day life look like when it comes to commuting and getting to what you need. I don't want you to miss this because this is a very, very new development, something that I truly had heard whispers about but never really knew much about it until I started digging for this video. It is the Black Angus Mine development. Now, where I come from, Black Angus was an old steakhouse, so I was a little shocked. I thought they were putting in a steakhouse there, but no. It is a 62-acre area right on the corner of Old Spanish Trail in Valencia, where it is being proposed and discussed, and I've seen all the public information, I've seen the emails in support and not in support of it, but it's supposed to be a, my words not theirs, a bit of a subdued, subtle shopping strip that has basic stores. So they're not looking to put in a Target or another market. I'm thinking more of a neighborhood shopping strip, you know, some local grocery stores, maybe, you know, a nail boutique, something of that nature. That's my assumption. There are no details about what stores would be there, just what type and what level of businesses would go in. Now, of course, the argument can be made, well, don't cover up our natural desert, because part of the draw here, part of the beauty of Tucson and Vail specifically, is the Rincon Valley. It's the views, it's the mountains, it's the painted skies. You know that if you live here, again, I'm a little bit biased, it does not get any better than Rincon Valley. So I'm on the fence. Do you build and add more for families to use and maybe support local businesses, or do you leave it as it lays and just let the desert be desert? Now, to be clear, this is a open pit mine, I believe. It is used for extracting materials and I believe some aggregate to give to other industries, but it's not fully used and it's just sitting there. I've driven by it 100 times and it's just desert to your left, desert to your right. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Again, it's the Black Angus Mine or Black Angus development site. There's a lot of good public information. You do have to do some digging, but if you're in Rock and Key or if you're in that part of town, I'd be curious to hear what you've heard about it and kind of what the rumblings are amongst the community and the neighbors for either developing or not developing that spot. I think one of the best ways to describe how far it is you're away from things you'd need, the only stores I can think of that you'd need to drive 10 plus minutes to is Target. So that's 10 miles down the road. That's 17 minutes from Rock and Key to Target, and Costco. But it was announced just a few months ago that Costco has been given approval to build and break ground. I believe it's either at the end of this year or early next year to bring a Costco to the Houghton Town Center at the intersection of Houghton and Marianne Cleveland. And that's probably a 12-minute drive from Rock and Key to the Houghton Town Center. And other than Target, you're going to have everything you could possibly want just down the road from Rock and Key. Other new developments have been Sprouts. Sprouts has actually broken ground. I think they have the foundation laid and it's all fenced off, so you can see the Sprouts coming soon. They just put in a new rock and roll sushi place. My wife and I tried that for date night the other night. 10 out of 10. It was wonderful. It's nice to have just variety and more options. The list is long for what's coming and what's being built in Southeast Tucson. And I think that's important because it helps insulate us to our neck of the woods. It helps drive more spending and more support for the Vail and the Vail area. So again, The argument can be made. Should they be building or should they not be? Ultimately, families need places to live. Family need places to shop. I can see both sides, but either way, there's a lot of good development. There's a lot of new stores coming to Southeast Tucson. I personally don't like driving far, so having everything in this footprint, dentist, doctor, barber, nails, hair, anything you could possibly want is just around the corner, whether you're in Rocking K, Southeast Tucson, or Vail. I really enjoyed exploring this community because it does give me a deeper, more intimate look at it. Of course, I've helped a number of families buy homes here, and I've never once heard anyone say, oh, I regret moving here. Again, it's always, the grass is always greener on the other side, but I truly enjoy where I live. But my gosh, they offer a lot of good amenities. It's a very clean, quiet neighborhood. I'm not going to touch on any crime or anything like that. That's on you as the consumer or the shopper to look up what's important to you. But I will say, if there's anything you want me or you would like me to dive deeper in, maybe you are considering moving there, maybe there's another community that you found, just let me know. I'm happy to do maybe a close-up or deeper dive on the clubhouse, what the HOA fees are, whatever it might be. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for considering Rocking K. I think it's a beautiful area, and I'll see you in the next video.